Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Good to see you. So today we're going to be making something like this. So if you're in the Facebook group, that's the Facebook group that I've got going with Mandy from Sunflowers Indoors, then you would have already seen photos of something I made, this thing. But you know, I thought I would do a process video for anyone interested and also to show you all of you here on YouTube. So here's what it is. It's a paper bag pocket, and it's also got a pocket in the front here, which actually has a pressed flower, pressed petals sort of focal point. And this pocket in the front here is gusseted ever so slightly, so that it's got a bit of extra room to, you know, expand and everything. So this is the sort of the prototype that I made up, and I thought I would show you how I did it. But today, instead of the pressed flowers, we're going to use a sticker. So I've got this lovely fern sticker, just to change it up and to sort of see how that would look, and also to give me a green option. So these are some lovely roses that my hubby kindly gave me, and I've got lots of petals, but I want a green version. So this is what we're going to be making. Okie dokie. So I think first of all, I'm going to focus on the sort of the front pocket. So if I have that just to the side of me so I remember what I'm doing. So I've got my pressed leaf sticker, and I have here, so this is from some packaging, probably from those same stickers actually, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's got some writing on it, and it's basically just some little poems about nature, and I thought that would look really lovely. And so that's what I used in the prototype version. And by using a card in the window that is plain, I was able then, you can see that writing, like so. So that's what I've got, but any plain packaging will do fine, just as long as it's clear. You could also use some vellum, but just bear in mind that it would be, you know, slightly cloudy, it wouldn't be as transparent. Okay, and you'll also need some secondary clear plastic packaging, which we're going to sandwich our sticker or our pressed leaves in between each piece. Okie dokie. So I'm just going to tear off a piece of this. This is just a cello bag, which is left over from something, I can't exactly remember what, but I'm just going to tear off a piece of that. Okay. Sorry about the shininess, but typically that's what happens when we use our plastic packaging and things, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing okay. All right. Now I want my leaf to be sort of framed like that, quite nicely in the center. So I'm just going to peel this off first of all, and then what I think I will do is pop it down onto the plastic packaging that is in the back, and then position the top layer over the top. I think that would be the easiest thing for me to get it in the right place where I want it. I always struggle with those stickers, but I've got it. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, I think that would be the easiest thing. So if I pop it down, like so. So I'm just sticking that down. Obviously, if you were using non-stickers, if you were using real pressed leaves or flowers or whatnot, then I would glue them to this piece instead of just sticking it down like this. Okay, so we're going to position our front piece where we want it to be, and then we're going to glue the two pieces together. Now I'm using my beacon because it does work quite well with plastic packaging. But we're just going to do a thin bead, she says. Famous last words as soon as I say that, but you know. A thin bead all around the edge. And being very careful not to drag the glue across the window, but if you do get glue on the window, then it can always be sorted out. Okay. Ooh. Alrighty, so that's that. Okay, and then we're gonna glue this on the top bottom piece. So our sticker is sandwiched in between, and I'm just moving that ever so slightly to get it in the right place, but there we go. So I'm just going to be very careful with pushing down on that glued edge, because I don't want it to seep out too much, but we are going to cover this. That's what the this book page layer is for. Alrighty, so I'm just going to cut around the first window using that as a guide with my basic cheapy scissors, because obviously it's still a little bit gluey. If you've only got one decent pair of scissors, then I would wait until it was dry. But there we go. Alrighty, so we have this, and I think we're looking pretty okay. Yeah, I think so. There we are. Alrighty. So onto the book page layer. So for this, we're just going to use some text book page, nothing fancy. The only thing that I will say about this particular part is really we want some Goldilocks paper. So nothing too thick, nothing too thin. So if it's too thick, you won't get as much of a nice movement with the book page, where we get this nice sort of, we get a little bit of flex with it. So that's the first thing. If it's too thick, it will be like that. If it's too thin, well, it will tear when we come to actually work with it. So yeah, you want something that is like a good Goldilocks type of paper. So I've got, you know, it's not too thick, but it's not super thin either. Like if I do this, it's got like a good sturdiness to it without being too thick. This one, this could work too, but it's maybe a little bit on the thin side, but just trying to decide which one I would like to use. All right, I think I'm going to go with that one, just to change things up a little bit. Okay, so we want 4 strips. First of all, I'm just going to tear them with my ruler. So if I, just taking off that raggedy border first of all. Now we want them to be about the length, the width of my ruler. Maybe a little bit shorter. So something like that. What's that? That is about 1 inch. Roughly. That might be a little bit wide, but we'll go with that for now. And it doesn't have to be exact, because we're going to fold these in half. So that's 2. And we should be able to get another one out of this. And just want the last one. Don't you just love tearing paper? Okay, so that's our 4. So we want 2 longer ones. So it looks like I can go to about here and here. So this is the length of our window. So we'll get 2 of those. So let me just, and I'm basically tearing it to where the words are, so that we get we don't get any like blank spots. Okay, so that's the 2 longer ones, and then we'll have 2 shorter ones. So again, just tear down to the start of the wordage, like so. That's one. And our second one. Like so. All right then, perfect. Okay, so we're going to start by folding these in half. And that's why you kind of want something that's not too thick, because folding it would then become a little bit tricky. Okay, let's see how we're doing, because I don't want to cover up too much of my words. Like for example, yeah, that would cover up a bit too much. So I think I'm going to cut some off, or I can just pull this out a little bit, which I think I'll probably do to keep it easy. So it's going to be hard to show you, but I've got a little bit of a gap just here. That's simply so that I'm not covering up too much of my words on the front of this packaging. If it was just a window, like a plain window, I would probably just go right the way in, but in my case, I'm not going to do that. All right, so I'm going to use my beacon again. So we're going to pop some glue on one side of the book page. I'm only using the beacon because I'm gluing onto packaging, you know. All right, and then we're going to position this. Oops. Just trying to keep it as straight as possible. So that should be the back part glued. And because I had a little bit of an overhang, it's glued both together, which is good. And I'm just going to come in with probably a little bit of extra glue just to be sure. There we go. That is our first border or frame. So now I'm going to come to the bottom and I'm going to do the same again, just fold this in half. And we're just going to do the same thing. And again, I'm looking to see where my text is. So I think we can go about there. And then what I'm doing is I'm pulling it to the edge of this one so that we get sort of like a crossover. Now you don't have to do that. I just think it looks a bit neater than having something like that. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm hoping you can see okay with the plastic. I know it's a little bit tricky to see on video, but I'm sure you'll get the gist of what I'm doing. All right, so position this one. Again, I'm making sure I don't cover up too much of my words. As I say, it would be a lot easier if this was just some plain packaging. But, you know, if we've got some pretty packaging, we might as well use it, eh? There we go. Now we're going to come to the left-hand side. Now with this one, I'm just going to cut this one down ever so slightly because I don't want any blank bits. And I'm not so bothered if the borders are not the exact same, you know, all the way around it. It really doesn't matter. Okay. And then we're going to, again, we're coming to the bottom of this piece down here so that we build up a nice frame. So I hope this is giving you some ideas of what you might be able to do. There's lots of ways that you could adapt this project. Again, making sure I'm not covering up my words. There we go. I think that is straight. Oops. And then we're on to the last one, which again, I'm going to fold that in half. And then I'm wondering if I might cut a longer piece because we're going to have that gap. So it's just because obviously with my packaging, I had to move it over so that I didn't have to cut my my book page. But no matter, we will. So basically I'm going to try and join these two sides together. So I want to go from here to here. Okay. So I think that takes us to underneath this word just here. There we are. Oh, and that's way too wide. Okay, how's that? That should be what we want. So let's fold this. And this is great for those book pages that are maybe a little bit on the boring side, you know, compared to some book pages. This just gives them a, gives them a little bit of an interest than if it was just, you know, a bit boring otherwise. Okay. Again, making sure I'm in line. That one's maybe a little bit on the thick side, but it doesn't really matter a huge amount. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look to see if there's any trimming I want doing, such as here. And here. A bit here. I'm sure you'll be a lot neater if you were doing it. So that is our frame. And we obviously want to have a gusset in this now. So what I was using for that is some of the same book page. So for example, this one will do just fine. And then we've got this one as well. So we want 3 of these. So again, it works in a similar way as the frame, where we get our book page, we fold it in half, and we're going to have this on each side behind it. And I want a third one, which can just come from this, which we want to have along the bottom. So you get your 3 strips. Now we want them to be thin enough or narrow enough that they're hidden behind the piece. And again, yeah, a similar sort of paper, Goldilocks paper again. Okay, so we've got our first piece, and you want the open side, when you fold it, you've got this bit that opens. That will always need to face the inside, face inwards. So this one will go there, for example. And we're just going to glue that onto the back of our frame. I'm just using my tacky glue because it's paper to paper on this one. But because it's a gusset, a nice strong glue so that it doesn't come off when you're using your pocket is best. Okay. You can do longer strips if you want. Just as long as obviously they're hidden behind your frame. And again, we've got our folded piece, we've got the open side goes inwards, so open and open facing together. I think that just fits. Maybe it's a little bit wide, but that's okay. Like so. And then again, we've got the open side that faces upwards in this case, because we're going to put it along the bottom. So just as long as your open side of your gusset is always facing inwards, you'll be fine. Sorry about my squeaky chair. There we go. Alrighty, so that is our front pocket ready for gluing in. Okay, just checking I'm happy. Make sure I'm not getting glue all over the way. Okay, perfect. All right, let's put that to one side. So we're going to focus on the paper bag. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is just tear off the top of the paper bag, just because I don't want that flap. So I'm just flicking paper everywhere. So we have this. Now I've got some Edith Holden book page, which I'm going to use for mine. So I've just cut it so that it sits nicely within my paper bag, so that there's a slight border all around. That's just my personal preference. But you could use any paper that you like. I would say maybe one with a little bit of strength to this, because that gives the paper bag some sturdiness. Okay, so I've just inked around both pieces, this book page and the pocket on the front. So I just want to see how we look, because with this one I had a border here, a plain border, and this one will be more text heavy, but and is obviously slightly bigger, but I think that looks just fine. I might ink over this just to bring it down, make it more yellowed, but either way I'm happy. So all right, let's get this book page glued onto our paper bag. So for this I'm just using my Kalau, because it's a nice sort of quick glue, good coverage, cheap, because you don't need anything, just as long as it's glued down well, you don't need anything especially strong, because it's just book page on a paper bag. But for stuff like this, Kalau is good, I think. Alrighty. Okay. I hope you like this idea. It was just, as I say, the prompt was something recycled in the collab that we have running this month. It was week 2, something recycled, and I just tried to find a way to use a whole bunch of recycled items in one project, because if you give me a prompt, that's it. It becomes very I don't know, very matter of fact to me. Okay, so I am just going to go over this a little bit with my ink, just to tone down some of the whiteness of that page. But it's only because I'm using it with nice yellowed Edith Holden there. Just make it look a little bit more vintage. There we go, I think that's helped a bit. Wonderful, so now we're ready to glue this down. So we're only going to glue our gussets. So I'm going to use tacky glue, that should be just fine. So we're going to glue the gussets only, making sure that you don't go over the gusset, just want glue on the gusseted edges only. Alrighty, and then we're going to, glue that I mean, this book page frame idea could be used for so many different things. You know, you don't have to, I've obviously glued this on top of a paper bag, but you don't have to do that. You could have it be its own thing on your paper or on your page. You could use it to frame something other than a sticker or leaves. You know, it could be a really nice way to frame something in a vintage sort of style as well. Just adding a little bit of extra glue just to make sure everything is nicely glued down. Okay, so once that's dry, we should now have a workable gusset. That might need a little bit of extra drying, but can you see there where we get this, you get a flex, is what I'm trying to say. So we have, you know, we can get right in there kind of thing. That's what I like. And that's basically it. So on this one, I did add a thumb notch at the top. For this one, I'm not going to, I don't think, because I've got a little bit less room at the top. Maybe should have moved this down a little bit, but no matter. So you could put a thumb notch there, and then this one could have, whatever you put in here could have like a little tab on it or something. But yeah, that's essentially the idea. So I want to add a label. So just to go with my leaf, so I'm going with you know, a Tracy Fox style label. So I think one of these, I like the brown, I think. would look good. And what I'm going to do, similar to this one, is I'm going to use a blank card in the window so that you can see that text when the card is in it. I think I like that, so let's go with that. And then I'll tell you what I am thinking, should come as no surprise, there's more room on this one, so I'm wondering whether I could get away with adding a butterfly or something. Let's see. What I'll do is I'll hit pause, I'll see if I can try and find a card to go inside. That was just made from some cereal box, if I remember rightly. And we'll see about putting a card in the window and see if we want to put any other decoration. So I'll be right back. And here we are. So I've just put some cereal box card in the window, and I've just added a little Tim Holtz butterfly. Nothing fancy, just a little bit of decoration just to make it pop a little bit more on the page. The main thing is that the book pages do the talking, and of course our, in this case, sticker or pressed flowers, leaves, whatever you want to put in the window will be nice and safe because it's sandwiched between those two plastic layers. And yeah, you've got a nice big gusseted pocket for a big journal card or something, and then of course you've got all of this space in the paper bag for a notebook, another journal card, whatever you want to put inside. So I really hope you like the idea. I think they look awesome, if I do say so myself. And yeah, I hope you are thinking about giving this a go. Nice and easy. I hope my steps were clear enough for you. And yeah, I hope you feel inspired to try this. I'm trying to think of a name for it. I'm probably going to call it the book page paper bag pocket, or the book page paper bag 2-in-1 pocket, something like that. But who cares what the name what the name of it is? 2 pockets in one, and I hope you enjoyed the idea. So as always, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for, you know, choosing to spend your time with me in these little videos that we're doing together. And yeah, more than anything, I just hope you feel inspired. So I'll see you on the next video, shall I? Bye bye for now.